In 1854, a black woman was violently pulled off a horse-drawn streetcar for one reason: her skin. The conductor grabbed her, crushed her bonnet, and dirtied her dress as she fought back with all her strength. This happened 101 years before Rosa Parks ever became famous for doing the exact same thing. But instead of walking away in shame, this young woman decided to fight back with everything she had. What she did next would shake an entire city and quietly rewrite the future of America forever. History erased her name, but today, we are finally telling the true story of Elizabeth Jennings. New York City, 1854, a place where black people and white people lived very different lives. In a small home in Manhattan lived a black family that white people often looked down upon. Her name was Elizabeth Jennings, a 27-year-old black schoolteacher who played music at her church every Sunday. Her father, Thomas Jennings, was a smart and respected man in New York's black community. But no matter how hard they worked, white people still treated black families as less important than themselves. One Sunday morning, Elizabeth got ready to walk to church with her close friend, Sarah Adams. Both women left the house late that day, worried they would miss the important church service.
Sarah, we must hurry now, or we will surely be late for church again this morning. You are right, Elizabeth. Let us take the streetcar waiting just around this corner.
They did not know that streetcar only allowed white people to ride inside it safely. Elizabeth and Sarah stepped onto the streetcar, relieved to finally be moving toward church again. The white conductor turned around, saw their faces, and his whole body suddenly went stiff with anger.
Get off this car immediately, T. We do not allow black passengers to ride here, ever!
The conductor quickly pushed Sarah off the car first, leaving her standing alone on the sidewalk. Elizabeth's chest tightened with fear, but she thought of her father and refused to move an inch.
I have paid my fare fairly, and no man will force me out of this seat.
Furious now, the conductor lunged forward and grabbed Elizabeth's arm with all his strength. Elizabeth screamed and gripped the window frame tightly, her knuckles turning white from holding on so hard. Outside, Sarah watched helplessly from the sidewalk as the car kept moving with her friend still inside. The conductor kept driving until he spotted a policeman, calling out loudly for his help. The conductor and the policeman pulled Elizabeth down onto the hard wooden platform together. Her bonnet was crushed flat, and her dress tore as the two men pulled her body forward. Pain shot through her body, but Elizabeth still would not stop fighting these two grown men.
Get up and walk away now before more trouble comes looking for you today.
You have hurt me badly, but you have not broken my spirit or my rights. Careful now, I've got you.
Sarah rushed to
Just
her friend's
breathe.
side, helping her stand as the crowd slowly walked away. Elizabeth stood up slowly, her whole body aching, and brushed the dirt from her torn dress. Sarah walked beside her the entire way home, and neither woman said a single word. When they reached the house, Elizabeth's father saw her torn dress and knew something was wrong.
Elizabeth, sit down right now and tell me exactly what happened to you today.
That same night, Elizabeth sat down and wrote every painful detail of what she endured. She described the conductor's cruel words, the pain of the fall, and her torn dress. The very next morning, her letter was read aloud in front of the entire church congregation. Every person in that room felt shock and anger, knowing this could happen to any of them.
This letter cannot stay inside these walls. The whole city must read every word.
Supporters carried Elizabeth's letter straight to a powerful newspaper editor named Horace Greeley. Soon after, a famous black leader named Frederick Douglass printed her story for the world to read. Within days, Elizabeth's story reached thousands of homes far beyond the streets of New York. Thomas sat with Elizabeth that evening, holding her hand as he made a decision.
Words alone are not enough now, Elizabeth. We must take this fight into a courtroom.
Thomas Jennings wanted more than newspapers. He wanted real justice, and he was ready to fight for it. Months later, the courtroom in Brooklyn filled with people, every seat taken, every eye watching. Elizabeth sat still in her chair, her heart pounding louder than the noise around her. Her lawyer was a young white man named Chester Arthur, hired to fight for her rights. 12 white men sat in the jury box, and Elizabeth's entire future rested in their hands.
Your Honor, this company has full authority to remove any passenger from any car.
A heavy silence spread through the room, as if the verdict had already been decided. Elizabeth's hands trembled in her lap, but she kept her eyes locked on the judge.
Your Honor, on that day, she was not a criminal, she was simply a paying passenger.
The company's lawyer stood again, his voice louder now, refusing to give up easily.
Your Honor, if she wins today, no company in this city will ever feel safe again.
The judge raised his hand for silence and slowly turned to face the 12 waiting jurors.
If a person is peaceful and well-behaved, and no company may remove them by force.
Every single person in that courtroom held their breath, waiting for the jury's final answer. After a long, painful silence, the 12 jurors finally rose to announce their decision. Elizabeth Jennings had won her case, and the courtroom erupted into stunned, overwhelming silence. Elizabeth's win was historic, and the Third Avenue Railroad Company immediately opened its cars to black riders. But this single victory did not fix the entire city. Most other companies still refused to change. Just 1 month later, a black man named Peter Porter faced the very same cruel treatment. He too fought back in court, just like Elizabeth had, refusing to accept this unfair treatment. Slowly, one brave person after another kept challenging these unfair rules, year after year. It would take nearly 20 long years before every streetcar in the city finally changed. In 1873, New York finally passed a law banning this unfair treatment forever. What began with one brave woman's refusal to move had finally changed an entire city's laws. 6 years after her victory, Elizabeth married a kind man named Charles Graham in Manhattan. Soon after, they welcomed the small, fragile baby boy, and they named him Thomas. But in 1863, violent riots broke out across the city against black families. During those terrifying days, Elizabeth's baby boy fell sick and sadly passed away in her arms. A brave white friend helped the grieving family sneak safely through the dangerous riot-filled streets. Heartbroken and afraid, Elizabeth and her husband left the city to find safety somewhere else. Years later, Elizabeth returned to New York, carrying both her grief and her quiet strength. In her own small home, she opened the city's very first kindergarten for black children. For over 30 years, she taught young children to read, to dream, and to believe in themselves. Elizabeth Jennings passed away peacefully in 1901, but her courage still lives on today. Today, most people know Rosa Parks, but almost nobody remembers Elizabeth Jennings Graham's name. Yet it was Elizabeth who first proved that one brave voice could change an entire city. She was not a soldier or a president, just a schoolteacher who refused to be silent. Her courage helped build the road that Rosa Parks would later walk a century after her. History almost erased her name, but her story deserves to be remembered forever. If this true story moved you, remember her name, Elizabeth Jennings Graham. Subscribe now because history is full of forgotten heroes still waiting to be found.